Golf's no different from hockey. Requires talent, self-discipline.
Golf requires goofy pants and a fat ass. You should talk to my neighbor, the accountant, probably a great golfer, huge ass.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers? By height.
Is a very, very special honor.
I'm Paula Creamer, and you're listening.
Well, we're waiting.
Hi, this is Martin Cove, a.k.a. John Kreese from Cobra Kai, and you're listening to
Quiet, Please.
Let the word go out from here across the land. Let Daddy Noonan approve.
Hi, boys. Nice day for golf, eh? Quiet, please. Oh, you got secrets, eh?
Hey, this is Shooter McGavin. You're listening to the...
Hey, you guys. Hey, we're trying to have a podcast over here.
Welcome, everybody. We have the every once in a while B-list host of the Quiet Please podcast this week. Sorry in advance. We always miss Alan when he's not here, but we'll do our best to keep the ball in the fairway. So there's three of us this week. Our best buddy Boston Bob, Bourbon Bob, a bunch of B's in there. It's always great to have Bob on, and we have a returning guest star, Matthew Lawrence. Matthew, thanks for coming on again.
It's my pleasure. And I have another B that I would put in front of Bob. I won't today.
Does it have something to do with Andy and I with our? We have you bookended. We have you like peanut butter and jelly. Yeah. With me with the Red Sox hat, Andy with the Patriots hat.
Yeah, that's great. It's all of it is great.
And just really. There's the rules of golf. There's the decisions on the rules. So the decisions tonight are if you bring up the Yankees or any New York team, you get a 2-minute microphone silence.
Is that a threat? First of all,
those are just the rules.
Okay, but this is a typical Boston guy, Boston Bob.
Yeah. Making the rules up.
Threatening me with taking my microphone away on a podcast. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. All right.
Hey, when you're the little brother, that's what you got to do.
That's right.
Okay. I get it. Yeah. Okay.
So Bob, why don't you share for our listeners that don't know some of Matthew's background, so that our listeners know who they're listening to this week.
Oh my goodness. We have an hour show. We'll end up being an hour and a half because this guy, in all seriousness, he's still wonderfully as an actor, but he was in some of the most iconic films like St. Elmo's Fire, many films in the 80s, TV shows, 70s, 80s, I think into the 90s, him and his brother Mitch. Well, I've known Mitch a couple extra years, but Matthew got all the looks and talent. So
thank you, Bob.
That worked out well for you.
Yes, it did.
Currently, he's my neighbor right here over in Lexington. He hosts a Sunday golf show called Backspin and does ESPN radio. So multi-talent. He's a 5-tool, wicked, amazing, talented, multimedia, you name it guy.
That's who I am. And it's actually a 7-tool multimedia guy. I have tools nobody knows about.
There we go.
Well, we all know you're a tool in that.
Thank you. Thank
you. You up the experience for our Quiet Please listeners.
Yeah, it's great to be here with you guys. Seriously, and I'll say at the top of this, Bob and my brother Mitchie, I call him Mitch Lawrence, my identical twin brother, have been friends for a long time. And I am ecstatic that Bob has come to where I live in Lexington, Kentucky, and introduced me to the Woodford Club and the Kentucky Golf Trail and great people. And other than that stupid hat he's wearing, it's incredible to have him here. Yeah.
Those are fair comments, I would say.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah. So what we want to just touch on first, can we just talk about what happened on the PGA Tour last week?
Mm-hmm.
Like, these guys are shooting scores that are just off charts at a golf course that, has multiple par fours on or over 500 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, what is it anymore? Like, why are these guys able to do this?
Go ahead, Matthew.
Well, first off, I'll say anytime you look at the driving statistics from a golf tournament and you see guys you've never heard of before hitting at 345 off the tee, it doesn't matter how long these par four, they're hitting 8 irons in, no matter how long it is. And I said this on Backspin on Sunday morning after the tournament. There is no denying how incredibly talented these golfers are. There's no denying that. The thing that I have a problem with is how everybody talked about during the PGA, how difficult the pins were and all the things surrounding that. And we got a winner shoot 9 under par. And then the next week we go, you shot, what did Scotty shoot? 26 or 7 under and finished 3 shots or 4 shots off the lead. Give me a Ronimink every single week, because I know how great the guys are. It doesn't matter to me. That's not fun to me, is seeing them shoot 30 under par. It's just not fun. I know it's just my opinion, but that's how I feel.
Bob?
Yeah, it was like watching the old Bob Hope or the Glenn Campbell, or it's one of those desert events, in the 1970s and 80s, and really in the 80s. And they were going deep. They were going low. I got to wonder what TPC Craig Ranch, whoever decided to sign off on the $25 million redesign with Lanny Watkins, where Lanny said, "Don't worry, they won't shoot 31 again."
Yeah.
He was right. They didn't shoot 31 under, 30 under. I'm with you. And it's the driving, and also it's so artificial when members come in the club, or we hear it a lot, wow, a guy hit an 8 iron to this par 5. Well, if the 8 iron now is a 5 iron from years ago. So it's that's a bit different. But yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't know. That was crazy. I mean, it was.
It's funny you say that, the whole redesign in Lanny Watkins. They used to play this tournament at the TPC Las Colinas, which is now called the Nelson Sports Club. So the Texas Golf Association 2 years ago had the the Texas Senior Amateur there, of which I played in, and all of my friends and competitors played in. And the redesign there was pretty difficult. I mean, it was difficult. The green complexes were tricky. They sat up with a lot of runoffs, blah, blah, blah. But the PGA Tour players cried their way out of that place. After it got redesigned, they're like, it's too hard. We don't want to play there anymore. So what's too hard? I mean, it's ridiculous. That are they happy that they're able to go out and shoot 30 under? And I don't know. I'm with you, Matthew. I take a Ronimink all day long. It's just. I think it gets to the point where it can become too tricked up, and I'm not advocating for that at all. I'm advocating for toughness, and toughness brings the cream to the crop, and I definitely think that you see that at an Ronimink. And while you say Aaron Rye might not be one of the best players in the world, he sure as shit was that day.
He absolutely was.
So, and like you say, you're looking at the stats for the driving this week, and there's a bunch of guys at 340. You're like, who's that? Who's that? And at the end of the day, that's what we're dealing with here. And it's funny. I'm going to kind of talk about the Tour Championship in 1999 was at my club, at Champions Golf Club here in Houston, and PGA Tour just put it on their YouTube channel, and I've been watching it the last couple of days. And Tiger won his first Tour Championship, and I'm watching Davis Love, Tiger Woods, Hal Sutton, Vijay Singh, watching these guys play my course that I play every day, right? And I will tell you this, between 1999 and 2026, some crazy shit has happened. Like, because seriously, and I know what the wind was like. There was a little bit of a north wind that last round of the Tour Championship. Tiger Woods is hitting it where I'm hitting it today.
Wow.
Really?
It's crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. Like, these guys are on our 8 holes of par 3. From the back of the tee to the back of the green, it might be 186 yards, 85 yards. These guys are hitting 5 irons and 4. Lauren Roberts hit 4 iron.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And Bob, to your point, yeah, the clubs are different loft-wise, but they're not that different. Like, they're not 3 clubs different in terms of loft. It's crazy. There's way more to this distancing and this golf ball thing than I think most people really understand.
So let me ask you two guys, how do you, that brings up the whole rollback thing and all. Is this, and it's different for pros, obviously, than amateurs, than guys like me who, if I'm lucky, I play 3 times a week, and I'm old, so I play from the forward tees, but I can still hit it. It's different for us than the tour pros, but how do you two feel about the idea of that they're talking about the rollback for the pros and the balls? And we've heard it for a long time now, but is that something that they need to look at, honestly?
Go ahead, Bob.
You know, now the answer can be really, really interestingly enlightened with what Cam Young is doing, because Cam Young's supposedly using this ball that's been approved type of thing. And he is not, I mean, how far did he hit on TPC, the 18th hole? Like 375? So I don't get.
Is he using that ball in play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And so I think literally there's a 1 yard difference from before he was using it to using it now, driver wise, anyways. And so I don't, I guess the technology is supposed to be there that they can take a ball, ratchet it back for the tour player with that swing speed, angle of attack, on and on, data technology. With the average golfer, you and Matthew, me, really, Andy's a little bit better, but we're not going to see the big difference. I don't know. I think, this Cam Young thing has really got me wondering. I mean, what Aronimik did, that course setup, that can and should be the template going forward. Put the rough up, tuck some pins for sure. I mean, that ends up making a big difference. I don't know about it's PGA Championship is not the Masters type of thing with I think some of the tension or some of the stress, but I don't know. I think this thing keeps going on and on and on. It takes up a lot of time, a lot of effort. And at the end of the day, I don't know if there's going to be any difference.
Yeah. I mean, I have 2 points to make here. Number one, the golf ball itself, I think, is only part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I think the size of the driver head, the intent that the players have going at a driver these days is just different. Mm-hmm. It's just entirely different. And I think the ability to swing a driver harder because it's bigger, because it's more forgiving, is definitely causing a lot of the distance to happen. The other thing that I want to bring up too is it doesn't matter to me as a fan of the game, and I challenge anybody who has a contrary opinion to this. The guys who hit it the furthest are still going to be the guys who hit it the furthest. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to care whether that's 330 or 300. So what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Name it. Who are the guys that are killing it out there?
Cam Young, Goddard.
Yeah.
I
Gary
agree with
Woodland.
That. Yeah. There's always going to be.
They're still going to be the ones who are high up on the list. It doesn't matter to the viewer one bit whether the guys who are hitting it the furthest are hitting it 280 or 330. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's just gotten out of control.
Right. I would agree. I also want to say Aaron Rye, excuse me, speaking of Aaron Rye, he used a 7-year-old driver to win the PGA Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about, and there have been a lot of improvements, if you want to call it that, in the 7 years since that driver came out. You can get that driver for $125 right now.
Yeah.
I loved that whole thing with him so much. The iron covers on his irons, I know we're not talking about the PGA, but that was that was one of the best outcomes, and watching a major championship for me that I've had in a long time, because of how much I admire that guy and what a human being he is, as well as playing the way he did on that Sunday. It was incredible to me.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing that needs to be mentioned here when it comes to distance, if you notice, Aaron Rai was hitting it past his playing partner. Who was his playing partner on the last day? Do we remember? It was definitely one of the longer guys. Was it Ludwig? It was. Robert,
yeah.
Who's definitely longer than Aaron Rai. But there is something to the fact that when somebody's so dialed in and they're, bringing the middle of the club face to the back of the golf ball every time, that has more to do than anything.
Yeah.
Distance and the distance quotient. I know we all play, golf at a level that we all recognize that there are days where you're hitting a good one and it goes X amount, and then there's another day where you think you're hitting a good one and it goes X plus 30. That's just the way the golf swing works and the way the distance thing works. And you see it all the time when guys are coming down the stretch at major championships that are so dialed in and swinging so well. They're all of a sudden as long as the longer guys.
Yeah, I got 3 quick comments. One, absolutely agree, Andy, on the misses, especially with the bigger driver. So years ago, Matthew, they were the persimmon. You're too young for this, but
oh, excuse me. I'm older than you are, and don't forget it. Okay. I have about 25 or 30 hickories and persimmons downstairs right now.
Okay,
Mr. Big Shot, but go ahead.
Well, the miss it with the persimmon, way different than hitting it quote unquote on the screws like we used to when we were younger. The second thing is, I think the physical nature, it's like any sport right now. Physically, these guys on tour, it's more of an athletic environment, athletic move, athletic fast, and they've been doing that since junior league, but PGA Junior League, by the way. But when they were youth kids, and the technology is so good. So I think those two evolutions in the game add to that ball and going further. The third point I want to make is just a social commentary. I'd love to know how many people, maybe in America, around the world, were watching Aaron win that event, and I couldn't get the Key and Peele skit Aaron out of my head.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's funny.
So I want to make a double segue here, because we are talking about the PGA, and there's been some news that's come out from the PGA Tour about the new schedule for 2027 and 2028. But before we get into the ins and outs of the schedule, let's just talk for a minute about the PGA as a major is always been kind of the redheaded stepchild anyway. But moving that event to PGA Frisco next year, I think is an extremely dangerous. Dangerous isn't the right word, but it's definitely a move that could make that situation be even more so. The redheaded stepchild thing. We just saw such a great golf course at Aronimink, and now we're going to a golf course that's a couple years old. It doesn't have any history. We don't really know how good the golf course is. And we talk all the time about events and venues being the things that make PGA Tour events great. I just don't know that Fields Ranch in Frisco, Texas is the thing that's going to knock this out of the park for the PGA of America.
There's only one reason it's going there.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it. When you get to, it's like the U.S. Open. There's only one Masters where they play this tournament every year at the same place. When you get to move to different golf courses, this move is beyond, I have no idea other than the money part, how anybody would think this is a good idea. I just don't get it. Especially almost everybody, not almost everybody I know felt the same way about this Sunday at the PGA. There wasn't one person I talked to, and we're all have gotten to the point where we can be pretty critical of the PGA Tour and golf tournaments and everything. Well, I'm critical about everything almost, but as Bob knows, but
that's why you're a good guest host.
Thanks. Oh, I got much more. But that Sunday and that tournament was fantastic. And as we've talked about, so much has to do with the golf course that it was played. Andy, you just said it perfectly. It's 2 years old. It has no history at all. And now you're going to play a major championship there. It's absurd, frankly. That's my opinion, but I think it's absurd.
Bob?
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous about this whole thing. This begins with a business deal. It begins with negotiations of PGA of America moving to Frisco, and in return for tax incentives, business, whatever you're going to tell. It's a classic leverage, classic negotiation. All right, we'll let you move in here and do certain things, but we want to bring some PGA assets. Ryder Cup, PGA Championship. They had the women's PGA. I always mess up the acronym, KPMG, a year ago, and that didn't go over real well. And it's going to be that same time frame, so it's going to be hot, windy. And I drove around the one course. I think it's the East course I was a rules official for the PGA Junior League a year ago, and it's a enjoyable, decent, okay course. I didn't get this feel it was championship. I did not get to the other course, which is the championship one. But I totally agree. I think it's way too early to bring it there. The course has to mature. You should be having some PGA Pro or club professional events and some other events that you test it out and let it mature 10, 15 years and then bring it. That's my feeling, I think. But it was part of the deal to say, no, we're going to bring tourism. We're going to bring economic impact right off the bat. And so I'm really pretty scared about how these tour players are going to react.
Yeah, I feel the same way, obviously. I just think I've been there. I haven't played the golf course. I've walked around, looked around. It's very uninspiring. There's nothing really that wows you when you're there. It looks fairly typical of a new Texas golf course, which is nothing to shake a stick at, to be honest with you. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see just how much damage they do to the already damaged image of the PGA Championship.
And, I will say that the whole complex is pretty cool. The humongous, and I mean, it's like 2 football field. I mean, it's a massive putting. The whole, just everything about it is fun. There's no problem there. There's a lighted par 3. I mean, some neat things, but golf specific, yeah. I don't think this is going to go over well.
It would be a great place for the Gentlemen's Putting Society. I'll say that.
Yes. Let's make that happen.
Let's roll into the announcement for the PGA Tour schedule. So they made some minor changes for 2027. I think they're playing in tournament at Torrey Pines. State Farm is not the sponsor anymore, so they'll wrangle up a new sponsor, I'm sure. And there's a couple little different changes here and there. I think the real changes come the next year. So in 2028, what they're doing is there's a tier 1 and a tier 2 PGA Tour. So Tier 1 is going to have 16 events, which are all, let's call them all elevated events. There's going to be 3 playoff events and 4 majors. So you're talking 23 events in total. Tier 2 is going to be that thing that we've been talking about, the non elevated events on the PGA Tour. It's still PGA Tour. There's going to be 20 events, but I don't know. What do you guys think about the concept of separating this into 2 tiers and letting it play out as it looks like it's going to be doing?
Well, I as with so much of this stuff, I understand that almost everything today, and it's not just in golf, obviously, it's in other sports and society. It's all about money, all of it. It makes me laugh anytime I hear the phrase "grow the game." That has to do, as we know, with LIV. Bob knows how I feel about LIV. And it's now the same thing for me with the PGA Tour. When I hear, and the idea seems to be the elevated events, you have to get into them. There's less players and the money is absurd again. You know, it's all this money and all the things that go along with it. But I like, and again, this is just me, I like golf stories about, yes, do I want to see Scotty Scheffler and Rory? And of course I want to see those guys. But I also want to see other guys that I don't know about. As good as Aaron Rai is, most people that don't follow golf had no idea who he was on Sunday morning when they teed it up. The same thing with maybe 6 of the top 10 or 12 guys there. Those are the kind of things I love to see in a tournament. They may not win, but I love seeing those things. I don't like that a lot of these events are not going to have Monday qualifying anymore. I know Brian Roloff was brought into the PGA Tour to do exactly what he's doing. But for me, and again, I know I'm the old guy on the porch now, but I just feel like I'm worried about these changes and how it's going to affect the game of golf.
Yeah, look, I think nobody really knows until it happens and it plays itself out. I do feel, though, that the Tier 2 is going to be interesting. And we've talked about this a little bit, because you're going to get people like maybe Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, those guys who've been struggling to stay on top, Max Homa maybe, the guys who have fallen a little bit but have superstar qualities, that there could be a really interesting way for those people to fight their way back to the main stage. And it could be more compelling golf at that Tier 2 thing. I do share the same concerns you do, Matthew, about, you know, it playing out the way that you're saying. And I think LIV forced the hand of the PGA Tour, and we are where we are today. But I have an optimistic kind of feeling about how it's going to play out. I think it could be really pretty interesting.
Yeah, we were kind of wondering, Matthew, if this is almost like the Premier League in Europe, kind of a la that.
Yes.
Kind of a la your Yankees are up here, our Red Sox are down here. You know, how do we?
I didn't say it. Okay.
Well, you don't have to.
It was the elephant in the room. I know. I just went there.
But Andy, you don't know this about me. I will interrupt Bob for a second, which I love doing. I have in my closet a Tim Wakefield jersey hanging in my closet. So I'm not your typical Yankee fan the way I
quality
feel
individual that guy
about
was.
the Bo Sox.
Yeah.
Tim was a very close friend of mine, and even though I make fun of Bob's hat, I'm not your typical Yankee fan. But go ahead, go on.
No, I can't follow that. That was beautiful. But I do have a trivia thing. If we're talking about tour scores, going deep, the whole thing. So I got some wondering, what player has had the lowest scoring in back-to-back PGA Tour events? So played one event, certainly, sometimes you win and you go really low, and then your next event, you don't go quite as low. But there's a player, very recent heritage, that has a PGA Tour record for being, let's see. Well, I don't have the number, but one of the events happened to be one of the 4 majors. He won a major, and then he won a regular tour event, and so he's credited right now. Yeah,
a major was in the group of the lowest scoring. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is there a year associated with this?
2015.
Okay.
If my sources are correct.
Oh, your sources. Great. Okay.
Andy just said his name a little bit ago that he's been struggling.
Oh. Jordan Spieth.
Yeah. He's credited with being lowest under par for 2 PGA Tour events back to back.
Wow.
Valero, Texas Open, and then the Masters.
Yeah. I never would have thought that.
Yeah.
I mean, what was his master score that year? Had to be like 18 under, or?
I think that was the year he went pretty low. Yeah, it doesn't really say. I should know that.
You need to get a new source then. Okay.
I got a guy.
but that's a good example of somebody again who could end up making this.
That's a great point, Andy.
Premier
that
League
would be
thing,
great.
Yeah, play out. And can I just say this too? And I know his family. I don't know Jay personally. I know his father. I know both of his brothers. But Jay Monahan got a lot of shit for how he handled the whole LIV situation. And if we all take a step back right now and look at how this is all playing out, can we really be that critical of how Jay handled it? I mean, there are some things I'm sure that he could have done better, but the overall result of what happened and how it played out, I don't know. I got to think that he's becoming a little bit of a forgotten person.
Yeah.
In this whole equation of LIV Golf and the PGA Tour.
Sort of like when a president goes through a tough time and then they go, well, give it 10, 12 years, give it some history to look back on. So, yeah, I probably, when, a few more years looking back, I mean, that's a crazy time period for sure.
And I'm not sure what else he could have done. I mean, at the time it was easy because we all had feelings not only about golf, but about the politics of Saudi Arabia and all the things that went into it. And here he was we had no idea what was being said or done behind closed doors with all of it. And you're right. I mean, he got hammered for it. And he probably, as we look back on it, that will change. And by the way, I have a source about the 2015 Masters. This guy named Google, 18 under. You were right, Andy.
There you go, Andy.
Jordan Spieth was 18 under.
I pulled that out of my back pocket. So
that's a good back pocket you have.
But getting back to the Jay thing, I think Jay played the long game. He reacted to what was going on. And whether he gets any credit for this or not, once they announced there was a deal to be made between the PGA Tour and the Public Investment Fund, it never came together. somebody needs to get credit for that. Because as the leverage balance scale changes, the need to make that deal went from being very necessary on the PGA Tour's side to don't ever make a deal. So I just think he gets a little bit too much shit for the way he handled everything. And for all we know, that he played this out as good as he possibly could.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for the don't be that guy of the week. So we have a young professional named Matthew Travis, who is an aspiring player, and he's from the UK. He was moving to America, and he got in touch with some guy about buying his TrackMan for $14,000, bringing it to America and being part of his daily regimen of being a professional golfer. And he forgot to send the wire to the guy that he took his $14,000 TrackMan from. And he disappeared on the guy. The guy still hasn't been paid. It's been months and months now. And, this guy Matthew Travis has an Instagram account, a YouTube account. He's an aspiring professional. I mean, where did he think this was going to go? So that's our don't be that guy of the week.
Okay. That's funny.
Yeah. So should we talk quickly about a couple things real quick before we get into our 18th green. Let's talk a little bit about the Stanford women's golf team. Bob?
Yeah, I saw one article that said they're getting acquainted now to what Nick Saban did at Alabama. Roll Tide on that regard. Yeah, I mean, I think they've won almost every national championships in 2021. I mean, they're on a roll. Amazing. Megan Gagne on the team. I met her in 2013 at Augusta when she was in the drive, chip, and putt. The first year. Amazing. I mean, you can just sort of tell some of those kids coming through, just star power, really going to be really great players. So, I could just tell that she's one of many that I thought played really great. She's on that team, but she's not even I guess she's the third best player on the team.
Yeah,
really
ranking wise, she's the third highest ranked amateur golfer on her team.
Yeah, she's won all kinds of amateur events. So kudos to them. That's a great achievement. That's hard.
Excuse me. I actually watched that today. I watched the last day of that championship, and that program is really something. I mean, all of those golfers and their coach and of course I can't remember her name now, is amazing, and they've had a pretty good run with the golfers they have on this team. I think 3 seniors or 4 seniors, and 2 of them can't even break the top 5, as you said, and they're among the best players in the country. So they get props, big time props for what they did. And USC, who finished second, also, they've been number 2 all year, and they just ran into Stanford in the championship round.
I saw this graphic just briefly. Eastern Michigan made it there.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's a great story.
They showed the world rankings of the Stanford team, or maybe it was the USC team, against Eastern Michigan. It was crazy. Like, I think the lowest ranked women's amateur for Eastern Michigan was something like 300. They had one girl who was ranked 1,200th. And you're playing all these single-digit ranked players. But good for them for showing up, putting up, and putting a fight.
They lost in the semifinals.
They
And
did.
I have a very good friend who I think Bob knows. You might know him too, Andy. His name is Ryan French. He is known as Monday Q Info on Twitter. He's a huge guy. He lives in northern Michigan, and he's been talking about this year. 2 years ago, Eastern Michigan was ranked 200th in the country 2 years ago. And this year they were in the semifinals of the NCAA tournament. It's one of the great stories in golf of this year.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That is inspirational. Yeah.
So, Robert, let's just touch briefly on the PGA of America relieved their president. President is correct?
President, yes.
Yeah. So Don Ray got relieved of his appointment. What are your thoughts on that? I know you're very close to the association and the ongoings there. So let us in on some of your thoughts there.
Well, as far as being a PGA member, second generation, my son's going through PGA, we're very close to the subject. So I know a lot of people are going to say, like, what's the big deal? But if you put it in context of within the PGA and what it means to 30, 31, 32,000 PGA members, it's the president that now gets suspended, and he's been basically bumped out. The VP moved up, the secretary moved up. Some of what I didn't really appreciate or like is they throw that out on a late Friday or Memorial Day weekend. And, that was kind of weird. That's the old PR dump. And that just seemed disrespectful to Don. At the PGA Championship, it was still what had been going on for months and months. Don's working and focused on member-centric things. Okay, great. And all of a sudden now you pivot, almost seemed like within a couple of days to now he's off. He's kicked out. He's only got a few more months. Just everything about it, internally with the PGA, it reflects more on a governance issue. And I've said this in many places, not, I don't go to the Kiwanis as a community thing and say it, but even in PGA circles, if you were going to start the PGA of America in 2016 or 2026, it certainly wouldn't look like it is now governance-wise. Behind me, you can see up on this wall is the PGA sections. There's 4 or 5 PGA sections basically in New York State and Long Island. There's one out west, which is Montana, some of Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Oregon, and Washington State. So there's some craziness on the boundaries. In 1941 in the PGA America, there was still a boundaries committee because they were still creating PGA sections. There's 41 of the sections. In Kentucky, it's within its own state. Many sections are like that. Florida is the north and south. It just depends on where you are. But Carolinas is North and South Carolina. In 1916, probably only had Pinehurst going on. Right now, there's like almost 3,000 PGA pros there. And in Northeast New York, there's 3 PGA sections right in the state. I think there's 163 PGA members and assistants. So, overall, it really reflects more on a governance thing. I like Don as a guy. He's, I've known him for many years. He got kind of crazy with the Ryder Cup and everything. Yeah. But I just think he's sort of it could have been handled a lot better.
I think you brought up a really good point. Lacking a scandal, right? This wasn't scandalous. There wasn't anything that really went on that required an immediate move. Why would you do this before his term ran out? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And it really kind of reflects poorly on what you're talking about, Bob, on the governance and on the way that they're going about their business. I tell you what, from a member's point of view, and I'm not a PGA member, but I'm connected to a lot of PGA members, there's an awful lot of criticism from the rank and file about this organization that I think at some point really needs to plan itself out and to find a way to feel good about their association.
Oh yeah, I'm networked in as any PGA member in the country. And my phone has been going crazy for more than a few days. And I don't want to belabor the point, but after the Ryder Cup and after everything, yeah, Don got his hand slapped. Whatever, you're going to be focused on this area. Nathan Charnes, he moved up to more of a visible spot. But all of a sudden, you go months and months and 9 months or whatever it was, and Don's in a row, and then all of a sudden, within a couple of days, at the PGA Championship, the CEO Clark said, "No, Don's working on member-centric sub, member-facing. That's it, literally." And then a couple of days later, this happens on a Friday night, Memorial Day weekend. It's just weird. I don't like it.
I don't know anything about this other than the little bit I've read. And my feeling was there has to be something else here that they are not sharing with us. There has to be. And if there isn't, then shame on them. That was what I got from the little bit of reading about it that I did.
Yep. Totally.
I think that's a great take. And it just doesn't make any sense. But what it does do, it brings us to our final thoughts. So I just want to say thanks, Matthew, for coming on. You're awesome to have on with us. The back and forth is great. We really appreciate you coming in and doing this. We'd love to have you on more often.
Well, Bob knows how to get a hold of my people. You'll have to go through my people, but
very fair.
And it's my pleasure, believe me.
So final thoughts from you first, Matthew.
Final thoughts. I love this tonight. It's always great to have discussions like this about the game that clearly we all love, which, by the way, I haven't been able, Bob will tell you this, I haven't been able to play very much golf because apparently Seattle has moved to Lexington, Kentucky,
exactly,
where 300 days a year it rains. Right, Bob? We've had 3 weeks straight of rains. Every once in a while, it stops. We're now having supposedly 3 or 4 days where it'll be okay, and I will be playing golf again. It just, I'm too old. It takes me a long time to warm up now. Maybe when the show's over, I'll start warming up again. The only other thing I want to say, and Bob knows this about me, there are I have very strong feelings because of how much I love the game. The game has given me almost everything in my life, and that is not an overstatement.
That's saying a lot.
But I'm just telling you, it's too long. Another show, I'll explain what I mean by this. But I take it really personally with people that I have an issue with what they're doing in the world of golf. For example, Bob, do you know the first guy I'm going to mention? And I hate that we're going to be seeing more of him. I refuse to say his name. His name is the Cheater to me. That's what his name is and will always be. There's another guy, I think you'd both know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's another guy that was, I guess he's still with LIV. I don't know. I call him either Bryceps or Dishamu or another guy. I don't want to say his name, but I would just like to have on the record, not that it matters, but his statement about what he's going to do now that LIV Golf might be going away. And he's very disappointed in what he's heard because of how much he would mean to the PGA Tour. That statement, I think you can both imagine I'm from New York, and we tend to throw F-bombs around sometimes. There were a few that when I was reading about that and actually saw a little video, there were F-bombs dropped, I'll just say. I'm very protective of the game I love. Let's just put it that way, and that's my final thought.
Well, those are some good and spicy final thoughts, because I think at the end of the day, those are things that we're all feeling, and how those things end up playing out is going to be super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, 18th green.
Yeah, hey, Matthew's like an older brother, brotherly love. We'll get in contact with you guys to bring you back.
An older, younger brother.
Yeah. And so I won't go on the baseball side. And I know this is going to sound bizarre, but I find myself pulling for your Knicks from a historical perspective with the NBA. So I kind of I see, I appreciate what's going on. I think it's a good thing. I really do. I think it's good. It's good for the game. I might even say go Knickerbockers. And then
I have been known to say go Celts too.
Yes.
So I get it.
Kumbaya.
Yeah. We appreciate it.
Is the right word, Andy.
I was away on some travel last week, but just one quick thing, touching back on the PGA Championship, I found myself really being sort of like, hey, this is back a little bit to the old days with John Rahm in the mix at the end. And that was kind of cool, and it was nice. And, not that I was really rooting for him per se, but it was just like, okay, this feels good. I'm glad he's back in the mix. And in a perfect world, it would have been great. Some of the guys were still playing for years, but I don't know, maybe he's having a epiphany or something he needs to get back into this where the majors, because you win a regular tournament, you're in the record book, you win a major in the history book, that type of thing.
Right.
So, but thanks again, Matthew. We're going to not go long without having you back again.
My pleasure, Bobby.
Yes, likewise. So my final thoughts, it's a little self-serving. So on Monday, I teed up for the final qualifier for the U.S. Senior Open.
That's right.
This is a bucket list thing for me.
Wow.
I work super hard at my game, and this is the second time now I've had the opportunity to get to the last stage of qualifying. And I got my pairing today. I'm playing with Omar Uresti.
Wow.
And then another local amateur. So I'm super pumped about that. I will report back, of course, next week. We also next week have Travis Vick coming on as a guest. Now, Travis was the one who won the winning putt for the University of Texas in the 2022 National Championship at Greyhawk. And Travis has had a really interesting life in golf and some rocky roads since he made that putt to win the national championship. He's a great kid. He's going to come on, talk about his journey, about what NIL did and all those things that are part of his story, which is going to be super great to hear. So Thanks, everybody. Matthew, thanks again. Bob, always great to be doing this with you. And
Andrew,
buddy, next week.
When you get on that first tee, get mad. Get mad. Get mad.
I'm already mad.
Get mad. Fire away.
Okay.